Vandami Bante, and good evening, everyone, and good morning to everyone in the West Hemisphere. Welcome to today's lesson on Mental Process 3. May we invite Bante to start your lessons, please. Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu.
Okay, now we will pay homage to the Buddhas by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Then, okay, today we are going to talk about death mental process. So, we have 4 types of death. So, we have to know, we have Ayukaya, the first one, this is called consummation of life. Then that means, according to our lifespan, we will die. For example, at the time of the Buddha, 100 years. After 100 years, they were dying, or within 100 years, they were dying. This is called Ayukaya. When our lifespan is ended, we will pass away. Next one. Karmakaya, consummations of karma. Sometimes, although we have our lifespan, we have remaining lifespan, but our karma is ended. That means we don't have very powerful karma to going to use our life. Now we will pass away. This is the second type of death. Then the next one, we have Ubayakaya, consummations of both life and karma. So that means we have many old people. For example, like recently my teacher passed away. He was 96 years old. His lifespan is also over, then his karma is also over. Then he passed away. So that means sometimes when we grow older and older, our karma is also ended, our lifespan is also ended, then we pass away. This is the third type of death. So most of the people were dying of one of these 3. Now we may have the last one. Upachedaka. That means cutting off. That means by accidents or by being murdered, we will pass away, we will die. So these are called 4 types of deaths. We will have one simile. For example, we lit a candlelight. There is a wax, there is a wick. As long as there's a wax and a wick, the flame will burn. Flame will keep burning. When the wicks, no more wax also, the flame will disappear. Or no more wick also, the flame will disappear. Sometimes both, no wax, no wick, then the flame will disappear. Sometimes blown by the wind, the flame will disappear. Similarly, in our lifetime, sometimes our lifespan is over, so we pass away. Sometimes we have remaining lifespan, but our karma is over. No more supporting cause, no more producing cause for our life, then we will pass away. Sometimes both of them are ended, we will pass away. The last one is special case. The air crash, plane crash, and so on. There can be many different accidents or being murdered. So these are called 4 types of deaths. Objects of near-death moments. So we have different objects in near-death moments. So in our near-death moments, we may have many different types of karmas. It will appear. So here I have shown a picture. This is a novitiation ceremony in Myanmar. So especially in our death moments, we may remember some of our karma, or some of our karma will appear naturally. This is called karma. Okay, the first one is karma, mental formations of karma. That means we will feel like we are doing now, as we have done in the actual time of performing the activities. When that kind of mind arises, we can say karma. That means all the past experiences, the past feeling, or the past mental formations will appear in our minds. And for example, when we are doing ordination ceremony, oh, my parents are happy like this. I'm also happy like this. Also, my relatives are also happy like this. If I can recall all the things, it's called mental formations. Because we can also say karma. Karma nimitta, sign of karma. So we may have many different signs of karma. That means when we are performing a karma, then we will do many different things. There will be many other instruments that can help our activities. For example, when we are going to ordain, there are some material like living things or non-living things. For example, now here in the picture you can see a horse. You can also see umbrellas. You can also see bananas and many other materials. If we can remember any of them, this is called sign of karma. When seeing that kind of things, we can remember our karma. This is also important in our death moment. So we may have Kati Nimitta, destination sign. So that means it depends on good karmas or bad karmas. We can also see our destination signs in death moment. You may have known somebody screaming before their death. Very terribly, very painfully, very bitterly, they will scream. We can imagine their destination. But sometimes they will say, oh, dogs coming. When they say like this, that means they are seeing destination sign, the sign of destination. So if they see good things like the monastery or divine mentions or so on like that, we can also understand that it is all the destination signs. Like a fire, flame or fire and something like this, sure, he will be reborn in the hell. So we also have many other cases. For example, you may have known Mata Kundali in the Dhammavada story, the second one. His near-death moment, before he passed away, he saw the Buddha going for alms down. When seeing the Buddhas and his disciples, then he can feel pleasant. He can also rejoice and bliss, the bliss. He passed away and he was born as a deva. So his near-death moment object will be the Buddha. Seeing the Buddha's appearance, put his rays in his body, and his disciples following him. When seeing that kind of image, he can be reborn in good destination. Now we also have bad karma nimitta. But here in the picture you can see arrow, shooting with an arrow to a human being or a deer or any other living beings. So that means when we are actually hunting or shooting, how we feel it is. Whether we feel happiness, when we feel sorry, all the things can appear in near-death moments. This is called karma. There can be many other things. For example, now here, an arrow, a bow, maybe the jungle, he wait or he hide, it depends on assistant instrument or helping instrument. External instruments that help his karma. Then it will be karma nimitta. When he passed away, when seeing all these things, like for example, oh, it is coming, for example, something like that, that he will be reborn. You may in the animal realms or something like that. Okay, one more thing. You may have known one of the devotees called Dhammika Upasaka. In his near-death moment, he was listening to discourse delivered by bhikkhus. The bhikkhus are also chanting some Brita. He saw many different devas came to him, invited him, please come to our realms. Then he talked to them, please wait for a while. On hearing that, bhikkhus misunderstood him and left. Then when he asked, where's the bhikkhu? Why stop chanting? Then his family member told him, you say, please wait. That's why they thought. You wish them to stop. That's why they left. He said, no, I'm not asking them to stop. I'm just asking divine beings to wait. His family members could not believe him. And finally, he has to prove. Okay, please give me a garland of flowers. Then he just sent the garland to the divine chariot. They could not see divine beings, but they could see the garland is hanging on the sky. Then they believe. So that means in near-death moment, in our mind, in our vision, we can see many different things. But nobody can know it. Nobody can see it. It can be endomental process, ear-mental process, nose-mental process, genital process, and so on. For example, sometimes we are extremely pain and pass away, for example. By accident, we pass away, for example. We may feel pain. That means the process at the end pass away. Kusala karma, akusala karma, that means wholesome karma and unwholesome karma is determined by how we accept the pain. If we accept pain as a wholesome, that means, okay, this is the object of vipassana, it will be fine. If we accept the pain as like suffering or unwholesome, get angry, for example, then it will be unwholesome. But the main thing is, in our death moments, we can experience, see, smell, taste, touch, or anything. Then all these things can be our destinations. All these things will decide our destinations. We have 4 types of death mental process. So this is the first one. Although there are 6 jhana in our daily life, or 7 jhanas in our daily life, but in our death moment, for ordinary people, there can only 5 jhanas, 5 impulsions. Yeah, you can calculate 5J, right? Jhanas. Then Ma means mind-abiding consciousness. Ja is jhana, we call impulsion consciousnesses, impulsion mind moments. Ta is the dharamana, registration mind. And 2 is death moment. After that, pati is rebirth. According to Buddha's teaching, we believe after death, immediately after death, without any entire time, rebirth living consciousness arises. Next life will start immediately. After that, we have life continuance in new life. Yeah, the main thing is in our near death moments, our mind power become very weak. That is why there will be only 5 embodiment consciousnesses, 5 embodiment mind moments. So if we have very powerful objects in death moments, it can be 5 javanas, after that 2 dadharamanas, after that 2. There will be another variations. Here we have, after dadharamana, that's the bhavanga. Although here I just put only one bhavanga, one life continuance. Actually, there can be many life continuance. After that, Chuti, death. After that, Pradisandi, rebirth. Then bhavanga, life continuance. This is second type. So trying to remember these two. Dadharamana, after dadharamana, death. Or dadharamana, after the bhavanga and death. We have 2 different types after dadharamana. Then the third one. So now again, here we have 5 javanas, after that Stuti, no dadharamana. So as you have known before, when we have very powerful objects, there will be the dadharamana. When we have very weak objects, no dadharamana. No registration minds. So here also after javana, we have Chuti, death, after that Padisandi, rebirth, after that bhavanga, life continue. So this is it. The third types of death mental process. The last one. This is the last one. After javana, embodiment consciousnesses, there's it bhavanga, then Chuti, death, and Padisandi, rebirth, after the bhavanga. So we have 4 different types of mental process that can arise in our near-death moments as ordinary people. Here I just use only mindful mental process. Actually, it can be idle mental process, yaro mental process, neutral mental process, chandra mental process, and any other types of mental process. It will can be 4 different types according to our mind power and the clearness of object. When the object is very clear and very obvious and very powerful, there will be the dadharamana. If object is not powerful, there cannot be the dadharamana. Only javana and Chuti. Karma and its result. So we have to explain karma later. We have to talk about karma in the near future. Maybe next time maybe. So here I have make a table. Embodiment, death, and rebirth. So if we have unwholesome embodiment, excluding restlessness, that means restlessness is also a karma, but it cannot give its result. It's not powerful karma, that is why it cannot bear any result in the future existence. So embodiment is unwholesome karma. After that, if he passed away, was unknown, unrooted. Unrooted means like an animal are unrooted. Then we also have some human beings. They are not very high intelligence, very low intelligent quality. They are also unrooted. Then we also have like a two-rooted. They are intelligent, but not so intelligent. They are also two roots. So here, if we say two roots, then they are reversed. They don't have wisdom faculties. That's when they are called two roots. Although they cannot attain path and functionalities, but they can meditate. For unrooted, they are not sure. They can meditate, but they cannot improve anything. They can also, anyway, they can fulfill parami. For two roots, also they can fulfill parami in this very life, but they cannot attain path and functionalities or jhana or any higher attainment. The last one is a three-rooted. So in our death moment, if our wholesome unwholesome emotion arises, whether we are unrooted, two-rooted, or three-rooted, we will be reborn as unrooted. Okay, next one. Okay, now here you can see unwholesome emotions is the cause. It will produce the rebirth. So that means death is determined by our past karma. But now our present karma, emotion will determine our future rebirth. So you can see him. I think you have known who he is. You have known he is Venerable Devadatta. What kind of person he is? His lifetime, he was three-rooted. How can we know he is three-rooted? Actually, he could attain psychic power. That's the proof of his rebirth. He was born as three-rooted. When he passed away, he was born as unrooted in the hell. So that means heavians, animals, ghosts, all are unrooted. So anyway, so three-rooted person also, when he passes away with unwholesome emotions, he will be reborn as unrooted. His disciple, you have to know who is. His disciple, Sādhu, he was also three-rooted. He had a chance to listen to discourse for the first time from the Buddha, but he could not attain anything. If he didn't kill his father, he could attain. Because of mighty karma, he had committed. He could not attain any higher attainment. He passed away as an ordinary people when he was born in the hell as unrooted. This one will be very complicated for you. The first row, karma, agusala karma minus uddhacca. Then I have already talked about it in the previous slides. Then reverse, unrooted. Yeah, dugati, lower destinations or bad destination. So if karma is agusala, he will be reborn as unrooted in the bad destination. In his lifetime, agusala vipaka, the result of unwholesome, will be arises or will arise. This is his life, and we cannot reject anything. So that means we can choose the causes, but we have no choice for our result or effect. Then the second row belongs to karma kusala. That means sanjaskiya wholesome. So in the second row, superior three-rooted. How can we know that we have done superior three-rooted or inferior three-rooted? Here, superior three-rooted means when we are performing a karma, we also associate it with knowledge or wisdom. For example, we may offer foods with wise intention, just thinking about the benefit of receiver. We may offer the clothes for the benefit of the receiver. It's also really useful for the receiver. This is three-rooted. We have wise attention. Our wisdom faculty is also strong and powerful. Then to be superior three-rooted, that wholesome must be preceded by wholesome and succeeded by wholesome. Traditionally, in Myanmar, we have known 3 types of volition or 3 types of wholesome. Before we are offering, we also have wise and we also have wisdom faculties. Preparing properly, we have good happiness, then this is called preceding wholesome. In the actual time of offering, also we have wholesome minds, happiness, knowledge associated. After that, we recall or remember our wholesome karma with happiness, with wisdom, then it can be 3 rooted, but also superior. So in brief, we have to understand if an unwholesome or if a wholesome karma, 3 rooted karma is preceded by superior wholesome karma and also followed by wholesome karma, is called superior 3 rooted. If the superior 3 rooted appear in our death moment, then we will pass away. We will be reborn as 3 rooted. So if we are reborn as 3 rooted, we can practice many different types of dharma. We can also attain jhanas, path and fruition knowledge. We have all the ability to achieve whatever then we wish or we hope or we expect. That is 3 rooted. In our lifetime, it is also kusala vipaka, wholesome receptive consciousness. We also call mahavipaka. Mahavipaka means great receptive consciousness. So, if we have that role, in that role, inferior 3 rooted, that means we have 3 rooted wholesome karma, but not succeeded by wholesome karma or not preceded by unwholesome karma. Sorry, wholesome karma. If one of them is lack of one of them, then we can say inferior 3 rooted. Now we also have superior 2 rooted, as we have known before, as I have explained in for superior 3 rooted. We can also understand the same. 3 rooted, 2 rooted, preceded by wholesome and succeeded by wholesome. This is called superior 2 rooted. When that karma appears in our near-death moment, then there will be 2 rooted. We will be reborn as a 2 rooted. Although we cannot attain jhanas, path and fruition knowledge, then we can do many other good things. We can also accumulate many wholesome deeds and also fulfill the parami, perfections. In our lifetime, we have kusala vipaka, is also aheduka unrooted, right? The result of wholesome, also mahavipaka, without knowledge, they can arise in our lifetime. Then again, the last row, inferior 2 rooted. This one is a very weak wholesome karma. When that kind of karma appears, so that means no more, sorry, for superior rooted, sorry, for 3 rooted, superior one is preceded by wholesome, succeeded by wholesome. Inferior, either not succeeded by, or neither succeeded by wholesome nor succeeded by, preceded by wholesome. This is called inferior. So if an inferior karma, 2 rooted karma appear in our death moments, then there will be unrooted. Here I use su means sugati. Sugati means good destination. We can be reborn as a human being, but our intellectual quality is not very high. Although we are going to learn something, we cannot learn properly, we cannot absorb very well, then we cannot meditate properly. Although we meditate, it will take very long time to understand one thing. We have that kind of job, not very good intellectual quality. Then this is called unrooted human being. So in lifetime, it can be kusala vipaka, unrooted consciousnesses. This is called karma as a result. Again, now here you can see that one, the frog. A frog is an animal we can also understand as unrooted. Also lower in the lower realms. Then you may have known is the story when the Buddha was giving discourses to the bhikkhus in the Zamba, near the lake. The frog was also listening. He could not understand the Buddha's teaching, but he could rejoice. He could know it will be very grateful for the bhikkhus. Then, unfortunately, by accident, there was a death caused by a calm-born or calm heart. So he was born as Deva. So he was happy when listening. So many mental processes arise and perish. Succeeded by wholesome, very clear. We cannot know how long he was rejoicing, but he passed away for that consciousness, that mind. Then he was born as a Deva, because his near-death moment object is the Buddha. Very sublime objects or very good objects. His mind is also rejoicing. He also can delight in listening, preceded by wholesome, succeeded by wholesome, although unrooted. The first type, right? Among on the table now, the first one, unrooted, dukati ahituka, the warrants, was born as three-rooted. How can we know that he was three-rooted? After being born as a Deva, he came to see the Buddha. Then he reported all the matter to the Buddha. The Buddha also delivered a discourse in that event. After listening to the discourse, you can also attain Sadapatipada fruition knowledge. That is why we can know he was three-rooted. Jhana in near-death moment. So, as ordinary people, we cannot attain jhana. It will take very long time to maintain jhanas also. We also need very strong and powerful mental energy to attain jhana or to maintain jhana. Only three-rooted person can attain jhana. Three-rooted person also can be reborn in one of the Brahma worlds. This is a special karma, very powerful karma. If we can enter jhana in near-death moments, we will be reborn in the Brahma worlds. It's definite. No other options. Then you may have known many other previous spiritual leaders at the time of the Buddha. For example, Alala Kalama, the one who taught the Buddha 7 attainments. Uddaka Rama Buddha was also one of the teachers who taught the Buddha 8 attainments. Both of them passed away, reborn as a Brahma. This is also immaterial Brahma, no materialities. They cannot listen Dhamma anymore. So at the time of before Buddha's appearance, they don't have a choice. They don't know how to do to be reborn as a human being. they have jhana new attachment to jhana. At the time of the Buddha, if we just enter into asset concentration, we can be reborn as a human being or as the deva. This is the jhana mental process. So, Bhavanga Chalana, Trembling Bhavanga, Bangu Pachera, there is a Rastan Bhavanga, after the Manodara Vajana, Mando Arvatan, Parikama, preparation, Upachara, Assex, Nuloma, conformity, Koderabu, change of lineage, after that jhana. It can mean many moments of jhana, after that death. Then we have rebirth. So sometimes after jhana, there can be bhavanga, after that death, and also rebirth. There will be many different types of mental process. After jhana, bhavanga, death, or without bhavanga, death. This is actually for manda panya, with slow attainment. So when somebody has very sharp wisdom faculties, there will be no more parikama, no more preparation here, no more pa. Only upachara, accepts, anuloma, conformity, and kodaravu, change of lineage, and jhana, after that, death. This is called near-death moment of jhana attainment and near-death moment. So if we are passed away with jhana, after that, rebirth will be Brahma, then we have bhavanga, life continuance, then there will be Brahma lives continuously. Nirvana. I think you may have known many different types of nirvana. The first one, after jhana, after reviewing, after psychic power. Okay, this one. We have here, we will explain only according to these 5, okay? So the first, after jhana. So as I have shown before, after jhana, there will be parinirvana, cessation. After parinirvana, no more life, no more mental formations, no more mentalities or materialities. This is called parinirvana. So like the Buddha himself, before he entered parinirvana into many different types of attainment. After that, he entered into nirvana. And there are also many other arhats. They enter jhanas, they pass away. After reviewing knowledge. So that means after entering jhana, they can also review jhana factors. After entering the fruition attainment, they can review fruition, paths, nirvana, and so on. After that, nirvana. No more rebirth. After psychic power, there are also some arhats. They will enter nirvana after psychic power. For example, there was one Mahakera. He was very old. He also had psychic power. When he was going to enter nirvana, he asked his disciples, have you ever seen what kind of, okay, he just asked, what kind of nirvana do you wish to see? Then he also asked, have you ever seen somebody enter nirvana while walking? I think we have seen many people, right? They pass away sitting, they pass away lying down, maybe they pass away, maybe facing down, many different postures. But here, he just said, now I will enter nirvana when walking. Now he will draw lines on the floor. And he will also explain to his disciples, I will enter these lines 2 or 3 times After that, I will enter Nirvana. So he also enter into psychic power attainment. After that, he also do walking meditation. Then he pass away when walking. So when that kind of things happen, Manodara Vajana, mind abiding consciousness, Parikama, preparation, Upachara, Assex, Anuloma, conformity, Kodarevu, change of lineage, and Abhinyana, psychic power, after that Bhavanga, death of Nirvana, then no more rebirth anymore. So this is about psychic power. Jiva Samadhi. Okay, here I have to explain a little bit about Jiva Samadhi. So Jiva Samadhi means we have two types of sisa. Sisa means head. That's we have a head. Then we also have the head of defilements, is ignorance. Then the head of our life is life faculties. So that means his lifespan was very short. He will also attain path and fruition knowledge immediately. Especially he will attain headship. Immediately after his attainment, he will enter Nirvana. No more lifespan anymore. When that kind of case happens, this is a mental process. So Bhavanga Jalana, you have already know that one. Sambalin Bhavanga, Bhangopasita, Arrest Bhavanga, Manodara Vajana, Mind Adavachan, then 7 javanas, 7 impulsion mind moments. After that, Nirvana. No more rebirth. This is called Jivita Samadhi. Actually, there are also many other types of Samadhi. I will explain later. Pure Vipassana vehicle. So, for pure Vipassana vehicle, they don't have jhana, but they will not review jhana fetters. They don't have psychic power. They are also not Jivita Samadhi. So they are only pure Vipassana arhats. So when they enter Nirvana, they are, mental process will be just normal, as we have known, but similar to Jivita Samadhi. Bhavanga Chalana, Sambalin Bhavanga, Bhangopachita, Arrest Bhavanga, Manodara Vajana, Mind or Ravajana consciousness, then 5 javanas, impulsions, then finally Nirvana, no more rebirth. Then there are also some people, they also ask, when Arhat passed away, where is their nama go? I mean, their Rupa is remaining here, right? Rupa is remaining as a dead body, but their nama has gone. Where is it go? We have one simile mentioned in Vedana Sutta. I think everybody has known that sutta, Vedana Sutta. So in that Vedana Sutta, it was mentioned, Kinam Burana Navanati Sama and so on. Okay, they are mentioned, if we lit a candlelight, then we will blow. Then the flame will disappear naturally. We cannot know where the flame goes. It has disappeared. Similarly, their body will remain as a dead body, but their nama cease totally, no more. That is called like extinguishing fire without remainder. This is the way of Arhats enter Nirvana, or this is the simile of entering Nirvana of Arhat, the Buddhas, and Vajika Buddha. Samadhi. Okay, here we have the first one, Roka Samadhi. So meditating when in sickness, he also recovered from the sickness and also attained headship at the same time. That means simultaneously, he also attained headship, he also recovered from his sickness. This is also a special occasion, special bhikkhus who can meditate when he is sick. Idiapata Samasthiti. So that one is according to his posture. Meditating when in certain positions of posture, he also attained headship at the end of the posture. For example, he will sit and meditates. Then when he stops meditating, when he's going to change, he also change the posture, and he also attained headship. Both of them end at the same time. This is called Idiapata Samasthiti. Now we have a special arhat at the time of the Buddha, not at the time of the Buddha, after Buddha's Nirvana. Venerable Ananda. He has attained headship neither in sitting or standing, walking or lying down, because he stopped meditating. Then whole night he stopped meditating in the early morning. Then he was going to take a rest for a while in the room. And he kept meditating on the way. When he was going to lie down, before his head touched the pillow, but before his legs also lifted from the floor. Before lying down, he attained headship. That's why neither standing, nor walking, nor lying down, then we can say he's free from four posture. This is a special arhat. Anyway, we have second types, Idiapata Samasthiti. That means he also meditates. When he also change posture, at the same time he also attains headship. Jivita Samasthiti. This is the one I have explained before. Immediately after attaining headship, his life is ended. I have said CC or CSA, that means the head. That means the head of defilements. The ignorance is ended or eradicated. After that, his life is also ended. That's why it's called Jivita Samasthiti. You know, 4 types of present. So we have 4 types of present. When we talk about present, okay, you may also know be present. Sometimes we say like that. Sometimes just trying to focus on the present moment. According to practice, Buddhist practice, how many types of present? Yeah, I will list out the 4. Now, the first one is Atta Patvdh, durational present. Here, durational present means we have our life from birth to death. That's called Atta Patvdh, durational present. So our life from the very beginning to the end is also present. We say present life. So when we are going to meditate, especially when we are going to practice vipassana, we also have to know durational present, Atta Patvdh, from the very beginning of life to the end of the life. Just all the nama-rupas as anicca, dukkha, anatta, and so on. Number 2, Samaya Patvdh, timely present. Yeah, if we say Samaya, you may also know occasion. Ekan Samayam, whenever we reach in the sutta, Ekan Samayam is translated as one occasion. Because we can also say occasional present. So that means in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, this is called Samaya Patvdh. this evening, this afternoon, tonight, we can use like this. Today we may use like this. This is called Samaya Paccuppanna, present. Sanati Paccuppanna, continuity present. That one is also very easy for you now, I think, because you have learned mental process. One mental process is called one present. So how about rupa? So when one rupa perish, another rupa will arise. For example, one eye translucency will arise, then next eye translucency will arise. Sometimes temperature produces materialities, for example. Some are produced by heat. Also, rise and perish. Then some are produced by cold. Rise and perish. So, whether nama or rupa, they will arise as a process, as a series, continuously. This is called continuity present. So when we are going to meditate or practice, what kind of present should be? The first one, Paccuppanna, we can also use in Vipassana. Samaya Paccuppanna, we can also use in Vipassana. The third type, Sanati Paccuppanna, continuity presence, we can also use them as meditation subjects in Vipassana. Khanna Paccuppanna. This one is the shortest present, the shortest one. So in the rupa, actually we have already talked about rupa in the first mental process, the first talk about mental process. So like the lifespan of rupas, the materialities is 70 times longer than mentalities. In every mentalities, in every single mind moment, we have 3 sub-mind moments. For example, in our previous mental process, Manodavajana, for example, mind abiding consciousness. In that mind moment also, there's a arising stage, theta stage, and also we have perishing stage. So in the very beginning, arising stage, this is the one on this moment. After that, limit, space limit remaining before passing away. Short time is called Chiti, we call theta stage or standing stage. And finally, it will perish. Every single mind moment, we have 3 sub-mind moments: rising stage, theta stage, and perishing stage. This is called Khanna. When we talk about Khanna Paccuppanna, that means rising stage, standing stage, and perishing stage of every single mind moment. This is called Khanna Paccuppanna. So when we are going to talk about Paccuppanna and Vipassana, you can use one of these 4. Especially when we are going to talk about Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta or Nama Rupas, it must be the last 2. Sanati Paccuppanna and Khanna Paccuppanna. So they will be useful for Vipassana. Okay, now, today we have talked about death moments, the mental process. If we summarize all types of mental process, in our lifetime, we have 5 mental process: when seeing, listening, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking. This is only essential sphere of consciousness. Then we also have higher attainment, like a jhana mental process, reviewing mental process, path and fusion mental process, also reviewing mental process of path and fusion. Then we also have any other higher attainments, like entering into fusion attainments, entering into jhana attainment, entering into cessation attainment. Now, at the end, at the end of our life, we may have judgment process. So our judge moment is determined by, our future destination is determined by embodiment consciousness of this life. So maybe our next chapter will be about karma. Before, I think for other things like 11 Deva, so 11 sensual realms and Brahma realms, you can read by yourself. I don't need to explain that one, right? We just need to talk about the karma and also living beings and how we have to do our karma. That's more important. Anyway, so now we have to know why do we have to know different types of mental process? Actually, when we are going to practice vipassana, we have to break down the competence. In the very beginning of talks, I have already explained competence. If we can break down the competence, our perceptions of impermanence, suffering, non-self will become clearer and more powerful. That is why we have to know the mental process. But when we talk about rupas, materialities, we don't have 4 competence. We have only 3 competence. If we can break down competence, it will be the same. Our inside knowledge become very powerful, and we can also have very strong perceptions of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. So to understand the nature of impermanence, suffering, and non-self, we have to learn mental process for clear understanding and deeper understanding. I think today we should stop here, right? May all be able to practice the Buddha teaching, and may all be able to make it at the end of suffering as soon as possible.
Thank you, Bhante. Bhante, may we seek permission to take questions from the floor?
Okay.
Vandami Bhante. In the mental process, there's process Gotrabu. Gotrabu is before they enter into jhana, before they enter into abhinya. So when we practice samatha, is it something like when we practice the 5 mastery of entering jhana, is that we are practicing Gotrabu actually? That's my question.
Actually, Gotrabu is not for practicing. It's only one mind moment. We don't need to practice for Gotrabu, right? When we are practicing for masteries, that is actually different. Before entering, we have to determine do we able to enter as soon as possible, as quick as possible. We call entering, okay? We call entering, smavatana wasi, entering. Otherwise, imagine. We have to determine to be able to emerge as quick as possible. That's another, okay? Now we have like an advertent to enter, advertent mind, to enter as quick as possible. We call avatanavasi. And we also have like a reviewing jhana factors as quick as possible. So these are called masteries. Actually, when we are practicing masteries, it's not talking about Kodrabu or Upachana or anything. Okay?
So Bhante, so it's by our desire, our intention to enter, to exit, to review, and then that mental process just happen automatically. So we do not practice the mental
process arises naturally.
Okay. So the mind door adverting mano, is that something we can practice also, or we cannot control the mano? It will just happen automatically also.
For example, now, okay, you are reviewing something in your mind. it will arise. What about the you know is advised by another vajana. If you see this is 5 root advajana, right? If you know or just trying to visualize something, then it will be mind advajana naturally. As soon as mind advajana rises, there is something you know. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
I'd just like to clarify, Bhante, there is one slide on karma and its result. Can Sister Irong please kindly help to flash that one? There's one column in the lifetime. There are this ahetuka in bracket. Just wondering what that means, or is it ahetuka, tihetuka, duhetuka, and ahetuka?
Okay, so that one is actually ahetuka. Okay, yeah, then the ahetuka means, unrooted consciousness.
Yeah.
Unrooted consciousness, right?
Yes, the title. This one. On the right column, there are ahetuka. Is the second one tihetuka?
Yeah. Second one, tihetuka means? Oh, yeah. That one's actually sure. That's a tihetuka, sure. Ahetuka, tihetuka, yeah, this is, yeah.
Okay.
Living beings, right?
Okay.
Next sentence.
So ahetuka, tihetuka, duhetuka, and ahetuka again.
Huh? No, ahetuka. Oh, this one. Oh, no. Because
on the right column in the lifetime.
That one, right? Can you see? Okay.
Yes, Bhante.
Actually, I just cover the first column. That's why we can unroot like this. I cover the first one, right?
Yes.
That's why it becomes like this.
I see. So the right-hand column in the bracket after kusala vipaka, is it tihetuka?
Yeah.
Then the third row in the same column is two-rooted is dvihetuka.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Last one is unrooted, right? Okay. This is simply ahetuka. Good explanation. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
I would like to come back to the question of mental process. Actually, in the mental process, which is 5-door process or mental process, there is 7 impulse of jhana. And then it can be 7 pulse in jhana, and then the mental process, like we say, thinking on or happens. For example, for asking a question, now is mental process. I am thinking how to construct my question. So there is 7 impulse of jhana happens.
Okay.
If
so in this
person,
case,
yes, so there is like impulse 7 impulse of jhana. If somebody is in jhana, there is only 4 impulse or of jhana before entering to jhana. So this is 7 or 5. Today we learn that in that process there is 5 impulses. And in a special case like you mentioned, I'm not sure of Mahanata process, I'm not sure this word, but when the person is unconscious, is dawning or half asleep, unconscious or in dream, there is also 6. It is the difference that the of impulse of jhana impulse. This is the main difference. Or also the second difference is in object. because jhana object is absorption object, is nimitta. That process is another object, is karma sign object. And a thinking process is another kind of object. Vipassana is changing object. So if you could please explain this different mental process, including that process and jhana process and arahant process, in terms of impulses, numbers of impulses, and object.
Okay.
Including what means unconscious person and or half sleeping, no sleeping. Yeah.
Okay. So that means you have known many other things also. For example, normally we have seven involution consciousnesses, right? When we see, smell, hear, touch, the object become very clear, it will be, because it's seven. Okay, very clear. So this is a clear object. So sometimes, okay, you can practically experience, sometimes when you go to the hospital, you have to see your eyesight, right? You have to see some alphabet and the very far, smaller and bigger, something like that, right? So sometimes you can see clearly, you can know what is that. Sometimes you can see, but you cannot understand what is that, right? That means very weak objects. At the time, no inversion. We can say like that. You cannot know that. You cannot know this alphabet. You cannot know what is that clearly, right? This also called.
Or even removing glasses is also unclear object.
Sure, unclear object, sure. Anyway, so that means clear and unclear objects, two different things, right? It's very clear, we can understand, we can know this is it, 7. Sometimes we know the object is not very clear, 0, inversion. Okay? So between these two, we have sleeping time. We know, but we are not like a normal life conscious. That's why it becomes a little weak. That's why the number of inversion becomes a little bit smaller. Okay?
Yep.
Let's say 6 or 5 or something like that. Anyway, so one more thing. I have explained before, when we are going to understand one thing, for example, the object with 1 vowel sounds, it takes 3 to 4 minute process. It will arise many times, then we can understand that one. Yeah. Then 4 minute process repeat many times, we can know second vowel sound like that, right?
Yeah.
So in brief, for sensual realms, sensual inversions, at most 7 times, then at least 5 times, if we can know the object. If we cannot know object clearly, 0, no more. This was sensual realms, ordinary people, right?
Yeah.
When we are going to attain jhana, we will know the objects, especially nimitta. Yeah. So we call mabba unuko, right? Yeah, parikama, preparation, this is also inversion. Also we have assex, also inversion. Then we have conformity, this is also inversion. Then we also have change of lineage, this is also inversion. The same consciousness will function, these 4. After that, jhana, my moment. When we attain jhana, only one time, jhana, my moment. When we enter jhanas, many jhana, my moment will arise. From Manora Vajana, Naidu Arvajana, always like a preparation, now assex, conformity, change of lineage, jhanas, all these mind moment will take nimitta as an object. Nimitta means, for example, when we focus on the breathing meditation, we may have breathing nimitta, right? It becomes very bright, also very translucent, and we can also keep knowing it, we can enter jhana. That is the jhana process. What about other future knowledge? The higher knowledge, right?
Yeah.
When we are practicing vipassana, it can be different objects. For example, we may see color. it will be idle mental process. Right? So one idle mental process, but when we contemplate idle mental process, anicca dukkha anatta is a mindful mental process.
Yeah.
Okay. Idle mental process will take color as object. Mindful mental process will take idle mental process as anicca dukkha anatta.
So it's in vipassana. It stays mental process. Vipassana is mental process.
Every time, as long as we know something, there's a mental process. There's a mental process. Okay.
And
and
if a person is in unconscious,
if we are unconscious, it will take some objects we cannot know clearly, right? Past objects.
Okay.
Like a near object or something like this, right?
And there is 6 impulsion.
So when we are unconscious, or maybe 2 weeks, maybe sometimes 6. From time to time, as long as we are breathing, right? We are alive. That's why there is some objects. It can be 6, it can be 5, it depends.
And that time object is one of
mind objects.
Mind object.
Changing.
Changing this object. This object is
changing.
Changing
objects.
Okay. And the same happens in the sleep. The same happens.
When we are sleeping, if sound sleep, then totally bhavanga mind moments. Right? After mind moments, there's mind moments. If we are dreaming, have hallucination, there's also object, right? We know something, there's also mental process.
Mental process. Yeah.
If we cannot know anything, if we don't dream anything, that means it is bhavanga. If we know something, there's a mental process. Okay? Okay.
So this is switching from 7 jhana to 6 jhana.
Yeah, sure. It's
from conscious mental process to unconscious, it's changed from 7 jhana to 6 jhana.
It will naturally change, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So the number of impulses is crucial.
Yeah, crucial.
Okay.
Okay.
Shimpia, I'm Burmese, who is in America right now. Susie up here. Do you mind explaining what are the factors that we can develop in my meditation is not in a higher state? So the factors we can develop to reborn as T8.
So that means
okay.
If we are going to practice 3 rudis, I think as Burmese you may have known this body was Upachirana, Munchachirana, Aparachirana. Upachirana, Munchachirana, I think you have all Burmese know that one, right? So anyway.
Well, I don't know.
Before we are performing some good things, then it must be knowledge associated, rejoice, happiness. We have preparation, we can say like that, with happiness and wisdom. Now, when we are actually offering or doing some merit, it should be the same, knowledge associated. Okay, here we have many different types of knowledge. That means we must think about, when we are going to offer, we must think about the welfare of the receiver. Mostly people want to offer what they wish to offer, right?
Okay.
They don't think about donor conditions, the receiver conditions, sorry. Right. So that means if we consider receiver's donation, receiver's conditions, it's not associated. We just think about his welfare. Okay? Then it can be dana parami also.
Right.
It's preceded by Hosan, right? Then after that, you may know one Pali word, Chaganusati. In Myanmar pronouncing Saganutati. Okay. Recollection of charity.
Okay.
We must be able to recollect our charity. Whenever we recall, if we can rejoice, we can say this also gaining merit again. So, okay, briefly, we can understand if one very powerful wholesome karma, very beneficial wholesome karma, preceded by wholesome succeeded by wholesome, physical, three-rooted. Superior, three-rooted. When we have that kind of habits in our lifetime, then in our near-death moments, that karma can appear. We can be reborn as a three-rooted person in the future lives. Okay? Actually, next time we'll talk about karma again. Yeah?
Okay, so it is actually based on dana only then?
No,
or if you are practicing meditation, that's another factor. Two factors only.
Yeah. No, that means, for example, sila. You are going to take Uposatha, 8 precepts. Before you go to observe 8 precepts, you will prepare wisely. Right? You will prepare wisely. For example, you are going to take 10 precepts, for example. You must not touch money. How to handle the case? You must have proper arrangements. Otherwise, you must touch money. You must handle some issues from money, right? That means you have to prepare wisely, resilient, wholesome. In the actual time of Uposatha, that means if you are going to observe 10 precepts one day, 24 hours, within 24 hours, beneficial for you. Beneficial for your environment also, right? Anyway, wisely you do it. After that, also you can rejoice what you have done.
Okay.
Restricted by wholesome, restricted by wholesome. Three-rooted. It can be three-rooted. Similarly, meditation. Before you join a meditation retreat, you must prepare wisely. Then at your time of doing, after coming back, rejoicing. Right?
Okay.
You can do whole days. You may have known many stories about some Mahatheras, right? Some bhikkhus at the time of the Buddha. Okay. After they would do 7 days dhanas, something like that, right? They can rejoice every day.
Okay.
That's what they do, right? Yes. We can also understand that one is a tihe dukkha because 7 days is too long.
Okay.
Right? Anyway, this is it for about meditation. It can be any kinds of wholesome karma we are going to do. It should be the same. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Okay. So it is okay to go into the discussion like someone is donating, this is what's going on right now. And I disagree that, oh, this is not useful. I think the other way is more useful. So discussion part is okay, or will it affect my become a tihe?
It doesn't matter. Discussions are okay. Discussion means, that means we must be wiser. Okay. Right? We must be wiser. Okay. Discussion makes us wiser, right? That's why sometimes if somebody says, it's not that much beneficial. Okay, what will be the more beneficial? You can consider by yourself. You can prepare better. Right? So it makes you skillful and smarter. Then it's okay, no problem. Okay?
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Huining Bante. I have one short question or two questions. One is regarding the three-rooted. So during this present lifetime, for the three-rooted, would they accidentally happening in this akusala, or it is always in kusala in their mind? This is my first question.
Okay, in the lifetime, it can be both wholesome and unwholesome. It's a normal. As long as we are not arhat, we may have wholesome and unwholesome both. Whether no-rooted, true-rooted, or true-rooted, or three-rooted, it will be not much different. That means three-rooted will be a little smarter than other. Okay, it will be different. Okay, another thing.
So, to my understanding, it is from the listening to the Dhamma, cultivate the habit, and then make the mind stronger, and then to achieve the three-rooted mind. Is that what Bante is explaining?
Okay, so actually, now this very life we cannot change anymore. We can change our future, right?
Yes.
So three-rooted. Now that means whatever we are going to do something good, we must be happy, wise. Although we are doing good, not very wise, not very effective. That means we are not very smart, right?
Yes.
So I think you haven't known the English one, right? It's not necessary to be hard working. doesn't need smart working, right? So that means whatever we are going to do, we must be wise, also rejoice. This is the main point. If we can do like this, then we can also rejoice ourselves. Happy life, we can say, like happy life. Then it will produce this life better. This is the main point, okay?
I see. Okay. My second question is, if a person who is near death moment, and when he is at the sitting meditation, he does not achieve the jhana, so what it will be the consequences of the death moment? He is in the sitting meditation, but that is at the near death moment. Yeah, what is actually the consequences of the after death?
So that means we cannot say exactly. He can enter jhana in near death moment. His next life will be very simple in the Brahma words. He is meditating, but he cannot attain jhana. It can be human, it can be deva, right? One of these two. It depends on the last minute process. We cannot say exactly. Okay?
Okay. Sādhu Bhante, that's my question. Thank you.
Respect Bhante. I'm from Sri Lanka. I have one question about can you return to 4 types of death mental process? So I don't know. The first process is MA. What is mean? What MA?
MA is mean Manoravajana. Mind-avoidant consciousness. Yes. Okay? Mind-avoidant consciousness. Mind-avoidant mind moment. MA, right? After that,
okay.
Javana, right?
And Javana.
Javana.
So we have to find Javana. Javana Chitta, right?
Yeah, Javana Chitta.
Okay. And TA.
TA is TA?
TA. Yes. TA.
Oh, the Dharamana. Okay, the Dharamana. We just started mind.
Oh, okay. And the next one, see you, right?
See you is a Chuti, death moment.
Oh, Chuti. And Pati.
Pati is and the reverse. Reverse thinking consciousness. Reverse thinking consciousness.
Yeah. And Pavana.
Bhavanka mind moments. Life continuum.
Bhavanka. Okay, Bhante. Okay, thank you. I respect Bhante.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante, so much for your teachings today. May you lead us in sharing aspirations and making merits.
Etavadaja amehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodantu sabha sambati siddhya idam me nyadinam hodu sukhita hontu nyadayo idam me nyadinam hodu sukhita hontu nyadayo idam me nyadinam hodu sukhita hontu nyadayo idam me bunyam asavakaya waham hodu idam me bunyam nivanasa pachayo hodu mama bunya bhagam sabha satanam bhajemi te sabbe me samam bunya bhagam labandu. Sādhu.
Thank you, Bhante, and everyone for your time and participation. Till we meet again next Saturday, may all be well and happy. Sādhu.